Hello, fellow anatomy and movement fans. Did you know that the hip joint is influenced by more muscles than any other joint in the body? Over 20 muscles directly affect hip motion and stability, and hip function is highly influenced by other body parts, like the pelvis, of course, because it's attached to, it's part of the hip joint, and the trunk, the knees, the feet, yeah, I could keep going on, right? So the hips sit near the center of the body, and they're really designed to absorb and transfer force, but they have to remain highly mobile. And that makes them really powerful, but also very complex. I'm Kim Kremen, exercise physiologist and master Pilates teacher with over 30 years of teaching experience. And I'd really love for you to join me on January 22nd from 3 to 5 p.m. for my virtual Pilates Anatomy Lab Hips in Motion workshop. This is a lecture to practice workshop, and it's worth 2 NPCP CECs. And information can be found on this video on an Instagram handle also, and you can see my website here on this video as well. So if you're a Pilates instructor, you've probably had varying degrees of anatomy training, and you probably learned all about the bones and the muscles. You might even have to memorize origin and insertion points. You maybe even learned all the individual muscular functions, but what often gets missed is looking at the hips from a global perspective. So what happens when things are out of alignment, like just in general, not just of the hips, but that affect the hips? And what happens when compensations and dysfunctional patterns show up? So if you think of a Pilates exercise like the side splits on the reformer, if the feet aren't placed or weighted correctly, and if the pelvis and the rib cage aren't organized in the right spot, your client is not going to get the full benefit of the exercise. And if you're cueing the hips without considering the feet, the pelvis, and the rib cage, you're only giving clients part of the picture, and maybe the exercise is doing more harm than good depending on the person and how it's being taught. So in this workshop, we're going to explore hip anatomy, but really more important, hip movement through the Pilates lens. So you'll learn how to identify common compensations and understand what should be stable versus what should be mobile in key Pilates exercises. And some of this might be surprising to you on some of the more common exercises. You'll also learn to recognize what commonly goes wrong and learn how to make movements more purposeful. Like, what's the why behind the movement? Why are we doing this? And learn how to express all of this to your clients through smarter and clearer and more effective cues. I'm really excited to teach this workshop, so I hope to see you on January 22nd.